Hi everyone, it's Kathy here from the UK for Del Bellows Designs, and today I wanted to show you how I created this little floral scene. I call it Floral Bouquet, and it's a range of Lavinia stamps, but I've actually coloured them with Posca paint pens, so the colours are quite vibrant, and I'll show you how I did this. For this project you will need a piece of multifarious card, 4 inches by 6 inches, some backing card of your choice, which measures 4.25 inches by 6.25 inches, and then a piece of card once folded measures 5 inches by 7 inches. For the background I'm going to be using the Distress Oxide Twisted Citron, and I should be using a brayer to do that. For stamping I'm going to use Versafine Clair Nocturne. For colouring the flowers I have a range of Posca pens in various colours. You can use any colours that you have, they don't have to be the same, and they will be to paint the flowers on. And for some of the butterflies and a little bit maybe at the bottom of the flowers, I've got some pastel gel pens, and I have a white gel pen, a fan brush, and just a plain old black biro. And the stamps I'm using today, I'm using a few of the mini stamps. I'm using the LAV 623 Mini Flutter Butterfly one, LAV 132B, LAV 256 Flowers. And for the bigger stamps I have the Dandelions, LAV 166, and I'm using the one on the left. The Foxglove, LAV 475, and I'm going to use both of those. A Garden Poppy, LAV 689, and I'm going to put some field grass on, which is LAV 197. You'll also need a glue of your choice. I choose to use a glue runner, but you can use any type of glue, it doesn't matter, and a heat gun to dry after we've splashed some water onto the background. Right, so let's get started. I'm going to brayer up the Twisted Citron, and I'm just using 1/2 of my brayer, like that. And then I just go along the edge there, because sometimes you get a build-up of colour and you might get a nasty line. So let's get started. I'm going to start just at the edge there and get a little line, and then I'm just going to quickly go over the whole piece of card, working my way along. Now I keep moving my piece of card over, that's because of the camera. If the camera wasn't here, I wouldn't have the stand in the way, so I wouldn't need to move it. So again, just go along the edge. And I think I'm going to do that one more time. There we have it. And when you put your brayer down, don't put your brayer down that way, put it that way so that the roller isn't touching any surfaces and doesn't get damaged. Right, now I'm going to use my fan brush. I'm tapping off the excess, and I'm going to use one of my Posca pens to bang it, splatter. Last one. Now, I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's water droplets all over. I'm just going to let those sink in for a minute, and then I'm going to use a little bit of kitchen roll to dab it and then dry. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to get a bit of, turn that over so it's not so messy. Right, let's just dab. There you can see the where the colour's been lifted. You'll notice on my original one it doesn't look quite the same because I actually did this one with a water spray bottle and then dabbed it, but it actually took quite a lot of the colour off and wasn't quite the effect that I prefer, which is this one. But you can do whichever you prefer to do. So I'm going to start stamping, and I'm going to start with the dandelion. And what I love about these dandelions, they're so flexible. You can move them and shape them any way you want, so you can have quite a curly stalk. And I'll do this one here. There we go. Now the next one I'm just going to do slightly curved, just a straightforward. I've got a little bit of ink on my finger from touching the stamp, so I better remove that before I get it on my work. And we'll have this one. Actually, he's facing the wrong way. I want it to go in that way a little bit. There we go. Next up, we have the poppies. And I'm going to stamp these up. Hold that down. It's going loose. There we go. I'm going to do those ones quite low down here. I'm going to stamp them again. This time, I'm doing them quite high up. Just making sure I've got all the ink off my hands. And I'm going to use the tall Foxglove. And I'm going to put another one on the other side. Up to the edge. And I'll put that one right close to the edge so that I can put a smaller one next to it. So I've got the smaller Foxglove. And this one can go in there. And it stops it being too symmetrical. Right, now I'm going to put some of the field grass. I'm going to dab that around. And when I put it, I try to do it so that it goes in different directions. It's not all the same way. Now I'm going to do the small flowers, little group of flowers, and I try to do it so that I get about 2/3 of the stamp on. Leave a bit off, and I move it around too so that it's not all the same way. There we go. And they'll be coloured in a bit later. And talking of inky fingers, I've managed to get a little bit right up there on the top of my page. So somewhere around here, I have I think it's called Mono, but the M's come off, and it's a sand rubber, and it's quite good for getting ink marks off. The only thing is it takes off some of the colour, so I just have to do my brayer over it a little bit. There we go, and now I'm going to do the butterflies. And this butterfly can go up here. And this butterfly here. And lastly, I have the bumblebee. And he can be here. Right, so that's all the stamping done. And now we get to the fun part, which is the colouring. So I'm going to start by showing you how I colour the flowers. And you can do this any colours that you would like. I like to start with the poppy being red. Give it a bit of a shake. And then what I do, I'm just going to do one to show you, and I'll do the rest off camera because it takes quite a long time. It's a bit boring watching somebody colour. So I'm just covering all of the black. Everything that's black on here. It's just going to be coloured. And with the red, I sometimes do a second coat to get a bit more vibrancy. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. So what I'm doing now is I'm covering up all those lovely detail with the paintbrush, and then when it's dry I'll draw them on with a white gel pen. So I'm going to do all of the poppies like that, and with the Foxgloves, same thing. I'm just going to cover up where it's black. So I'm going to go all the way around each individual bit like that. And the dandelions, I just literally put a blob on the end bits. Some are bigger than others. And then I just put some in the middle there. And also with the grass, I just go around with the dark green and I literally paint all the little blades of grass that's sticking out. So that's what we do. So I shall do that off camera and I shall be back very soon. Right, I'm back. Off camera, I finished off the colouring, and then I just went over the edges on some of them, not all of them, but the ones that sometimes when you paint over, like this one I haven't done yet, but I did the edges around the flowers. So I just go around the edges and give a nice black rim. And I did this with all the flowers, not the dandelions, but all the other flowers. And then I'm just doing the black for the centre of the poppy. And for the flowers at the bottom, for the little wildlife flowers at the bottom, I'm just doing, when I can see them, doing red around the edges. going to do a yellow dot in the centre. And then I'm going to start on the butterflies and the bees. So I'm going to do the bee first. Just going to do him in yellow. And with the butterflies, I'm going to use a little bit of the Posca pen. A little bit of yellow on this one too. Sorry, red. And I'm going to use some of the pastel gel pens. You could also use Posca pens for these. Don't have to use the gel pens, but they're quite a nice fine tip for doing the detail. Okay. Right, and then with some of the Posca in lilac and mint green, I'm just going to go over some of the little dots that came with the flowers. Just to add a little bit more colour. And add a tiny bit more yellow. There we go. All ready. So now I'm just going to glue my card to the backing card. And there we have it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that if you haven't joined already, please consider joining our Facebook groups. We have two groups: Facebook Designs Lounge for all things Lavinia, and Facebook Del Bello's a la carte for anything that isn't Lavinia based. And I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.